All right, today's lesson is entitled Wrestled, and it's taken from Genesis chapter 32, verses 22 through 32. So let's take a look at the printed text, and then we'll come back and discuss it. Genesis 32, beginning at verse 22. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook, and sent them that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. All right, starting going to verse 25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, and he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hath thou power with God and with men, and hath prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. All right, let's do a little recap here. We know that Jacob bought Esau's birthright, because Esau was hungry, and Jacob had made some stew, and Esau said, I'll give you my birthright for some stew, which was a legal transaction in that day and time. That could be done. So Jacob acquired the birthright through a transaction. But then there was the blessing of the father. So Isaac would give a blessing upon the elder son, and that's where Jacob and his mother, Rebekah, kind of conspired against, Isaac, and he actually got the blessing as well. So he got the birthright, and then he got the blessing. Well, that was just too much for Esau to bear, and Esau wanted to kill Jacob, and Rebekah knew this, so she basically sent him away under the pretense of he's going looking for a wife. So he goes back to his mother's family. And so he gets there. He sees a girl at a well named Rachel. Love at first sight. He goes and works for her with Rebekah's brother, Laban. He tricks him. He's a bigger trickster than is Jacob. And he worked 7 years to get Rachel, and Laban stuck in the older daughter, Leah. So he worked another 7 years for Rachel. He worked a total of 20 years, and he decided it's time to go back. God had spoken to him on his way out there that he was going to protect Jacob, and he was going to bring him back to his homeland. So he's now come to the point, he was wealthy, he had family, and he's on his way back. And as he's going back, Esau gets word that he's coming back, and Esau takes 400 men and comes out, and they're going to meet. And Jacob gets word of this. Now, my question to you is, why did Esau have 400 men with him to go and meet Jacob? Now, we know that Jacob thought he was going to kill him. And that might very well be the case. We don't really know that. We know the outcome, but let's not go there yet. Let's just assume we're here and we're just learning that brother Esau, whom I cheated out of his blessing and then got his birthright for a bowl of soup, is coming after me, and he wants to do me harm. I kind of believe maybe that would have been the thoughts on Esau's mind. So Esau is very, very concerned. He's got his family, and he's deciding to break things up and protect what he can. Have two different camps, and that's another story. But this is where our lesson picks up right now with verse number 22. And it says, "And he rose up that night." So he's in the night, and he takes his two wives, which is Rachel and Leah, and he takes his two woman servants, which are actually concubines, which a concubine is a wife of lesser status. Typically it would be a slave. So they had two concubines. One was Zilpah, and the other one was Bilhah. And these were the maidservants to Rachel and Leah. They had become his concubines. So he rose up that night. He took his two wives, his two concubines, and his 11 sons, 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 and his 11 sons,